So I said, what are we recording today?
No.
And sheepishly stood up and said, Air's death scene.
Oh.
To which I responded, quite quickly, you.
Okay. Taimi no, Taimi yes. Overly edited funny moments from Mukluk. Okay. What's up over here? How long is this? I don't have to watch the entire thing, right? Because it's like 9 minutes long.
You know, because of the virus, Taimi finally has to make the golem body with Blish's technology. And she's like, guys, she like radios us. And she's like,
guys, I've been studying Blish's technology and I found a way to save myself.
and they're like, let me guess, you put yourself in a golem.
Yeah.
And I found a good one too.
And we're like, what do you mean found? And she's like,
So I was looking at Scarlett's research.
and we're like, Taimi, what did you do? And then the twisted
And that sounds like her because she's a huge fan of Scarlet Briar.
marionette stomps over the mountain. And then with Taimi's voice, she's like, guys, look at me, I'm so curvy. And we're like, Taimi, no. And she's like, Taimi, yes. And she's just like destroying the countryside. That is my fan fiction right now. We're like, Taimi, stop, no.
Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. Like, I don't want to think Taimi being curvy. That is way too damn weird.
And like Gorrik is riding on her shoulder, and he's like,
Oh no.
yo, 200-foot tall girlfriend, woo! Like he's going nuts.
Wait, what happened to the Taimi and Blish ship? Mukluk ships Taimi and Gorrik. Don't question it. Man, what would Blish think? He's probably, you know, watching them from above and whatever in Asura heaven, and he's like, "Don't do it, brother. Don't do this to me." All right. Anyway, let's look at Guild Wars 2 VA videos, behind the scenes stuff.
And let's just dive right in. A and a B for me here. We're gonna take it on your line 1.
They're very short
Antonio
videos.
Jenkins,
They're like 2 minutes
and
each.
I play the role of Blish.
Oh, he's Blish.
Blish is he's a good guy. He does his best. We all make mistakes, but you know, if it happens, it happens. You can try and rectify something, but just do what you can do.
Can I have my arm back now?
He's also Uramushi? Oh, maybe that's why they didn't show him, you know, in his Uramushi lines, because, you know, they wanted to keep it wholesome.
Coordinating
Cat
with
treats? Sure.
the narrative team is pretty simple because we've done it for so long. We have a bit of a shorthand. My thing is to always try to give the whole team as many choices as possible with each line. You know, we may do 2 or 3 takes on each line, and then they'll discuss. And then
I wanted to talk about this with the previous voice actor. Yeah, I like that they do that. They, you know, tell them what their motivations are and all that.
You know, it's one of the things I like so much.
That's what, you know, being a good voice actor director is all about.
Are great.
Farron, listen. You did good.
Doing multiple characters for Guild Wars is it's an honor, really.
He looks like
it's actually something that I
that is such a dad line
because playing like
he sounded exactly like a dad.
Getting to switch into Mordremoth,
scolding his son, that is Farron,
and now Palawa Joko. It's
not scolding him, but
you know,
praising
I get
him.
to be the good guy and the bad guy. That's rare. I love bad guys. I like playing some of the big bads. I think it's a lot of fun. You get to
he doesn't voice a lot of bad
stretch your
guys
range as an actor, and
he gets
quite
typecasted.
frankly, it's a lot of fun.
Oh wait, he's Joko.
Is in the air and the sand.
I forgot.
He is the sky and
Yeah,
the
he's
sea.
Joko and Mordremoth.
He is the name whispered on the wind. Joko.
If I could give Joko
That
one piece of
is
advice,
crazy. I still really love the Joko speech in the long live the Lich end scenes. Really got the player to think a bit. See, I got. So I see comments like that. I saw comments on that on my YouTube video that I released yesterday about that, and people were like, "Man, it really got me to think." I'm like, no. Personally, I'm like, no. I did what I had to do. Yeah, with the knowledge at hand, I did right. In hindsight, I shouldn't have, but at the time, there was no other choice. And then Joko is a narcissist. He is pure evil. He's crazy. He's loony. I'm not going to take anything he says seriously. He's got statues all over Ilona. He's got hundreds of them. It's like, he's crazier than Cauticus. I don't know. You never really thought about what's going to happen when you kill Balthazar? No. I didn't have to, because Balthazar, if I start thinking about it, then if I hesitate, then Balthazar might kill us all. He might, it's doom. One situation you'll be doomed, in another situation you'll still be doomed. Either way, at least I can delay the doom if I kill Balthazar. Same with the Elder Dragons. Mark Hamill would have a character related to Bram because they'd be a couple of hams. Ignorance of your actions doesn't make you immune to the results of your actions, especially if your actions cause major cataclysmic events like waking other dragons or making them more powerful. And that's why we're working towards, finding, better solutions to taking care of those elder dragons. I'm still not gonna feel bad for my actions, my previous actions. I still saved the damn world. Yeah. There was a zombie apocalypse with Zaitan, and Mordramoth was, doing his own thing, and more cataclysmic events. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, I don't understand it. That's just me. Yeah, just trying to fix, the damage that I've caused. But I also don't, feel particularly bad for causing that damage, because it needed to be done.
My name is Jocelyn Blue, and I'm the voice of Air.
Oh, Air!
Having a background. Stay alert. We got a Mistwalker on our tail. So how I found out about the death and demise of my beautiful character.
Oh, there it is.
Air.
I was gonna talk
into
about
a
that.
Session, and sort of on this high about this character because she's so dear to my heart. And
how does that feel, being told
my
that your
daughter's heart
character's
and
gonna
all
die?
These women in the world of animation that have come to me at cons and gone on and on.
Because that
about
also means like
how powerful
you're out of a
she is and what
job.
great representation
Well, not
she
out of a
is,
job,
and how
but
she's strong, but she's beautiful.
less
all
work.
these wonderful things. So I come in touting all the praises that I have for this character that I adore. And I'm noticing how nobody in the room, all my writers and producers are there, and nobody in the room is really engaged with me about this. They're not looking at me, and they're sort of making sure they're not making eye contact, and everybody's really, really quiet. And one of them had the guts to stand up and say, so I said, what are we recording today? And sheepishly stood up and said, Air's death scene. To which I responded, quite quickly, you. But it was true. That was the end of the character that day. So that was a difficult day because I had to pull it together, but I just been given this information that was sort of shocking. But anyway, I think she's an amazing character and she means the world to me. And the fact that she's still with us in some way, shape, or form is an honor. And I hope that I do her and the fans proud because she's a beautiful, strong, incredible female character, and she has a great voice. Not mine, just like her inner voice.
Oh, no, was that like a f you because her, one of her favorite characters is gonna die, or is that f you because that's less work for her? I am curious. I'm actually really curious about that. Then again, I'm part of the group who are kind of annoyed Zoja isn't around these days. I wish they would just revoice her if they can't get the original VA back. Maybe make it that the Blighting Pod ruined her voice box or something. I think the reason why Zoja's not a big deal is because I don't think the character is very likable. Not in my opinion. I think Zoja is just annoying. I found her more annoying than any other member of Destiny's Edge. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I found Zoja annoying. Air was okay. I'm very neutral about Air. Logan, I goof on Logan. I make fun of Logan all the time, but if I'm going to be 100% purely honest, I don't hate him. I actually don't hate Logan. Ritlock's the best. The absolute best. Nothing. He's the best member. And I think Kaith is the second best. Everyone goofs on Logan because he messed up. He did a stupid thing. Ooh, Matt Mercer. Okay, cool. Cool.
Keep it. Huh? There's a little wind on the microphone.
I've been watching a lot of Critical Role.
My name is Matthew Mercer, and I'm the voice of the male Norn player character.
I'll deal with it. Don't go anywhere. The Sunspears will decide what to do with you.
One of the challenges for voicing a player character versus
He's a great voice actor, by the way.
Non-player characters are generally
and he's one of those people that get typecasted a lot.
Time and a scene,
and it's a shame because he has a very
really
wide range of voices.
The mindset of that character is, and you can be more dynamic. You can be more
wide array.
As a player,
wide array, range, whatever. You know what I mean.
Oh man,
I was this close to making a male Norn character. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Bring the thought that I could pretend to be, and some people might believe it.
Very, very close.
I see the player character at this point is,
and it's all because of him.
Of not just renowned heroism, but it has responsibility. So it's been great to write him to that point where he's now at the super front.
You still
line
could. I ran out of character slots. I have 10.
Do or die situations as to where
I would have to buy another one.
Oh man, I can't even.
I don't want
to. Like the scope is already so.
I have too many.
Okay, everyone, listen up. If you're human, stay behind the bramble walls. Your role is support only.
Don't forget hard drinking in Holbreck. Because I know you've been on the road a lot.
It's very easy to forget Holbreck.
And get in a fist fight just for the hell of it. Because I think that's the Norn way. And for me, I would like to see some of that classic Norn kind of Norse influence. You know, come on, hit me because it feels good. Kind of a scenario come back in. But maybe that's just me.
Okay.
Well, sometimes it does. What the hell is that voice?
How down to do?
What the hell was that kind of voice? That sounded really weird.
But you feel compelled to try. Dark Dwarves, Whitestone. Wait, Dark Dwarves, Whitestone, colorful dragons, a motley crew, gathered around a fire, a pistol, a staff, a shield, a lute, 3 daggers, a bear, and a whole lot of grog. Oh! I think I have seen this line, but it never clicked with me that it was a Critical Role reference. Steve Bloom. Oh my god. The first time I found out about Steve Bloom was his role as Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop.
I'm Steve Bloom and I play Ritlock Brimstone. Char.
I wish I had his voice. God, doesn't everybody wish? Every male wishes they had his voice.
Ritlock is, he's amazing. He's, I think that besides having a warrior's heart, he has the purity.
All you gotta do is smoke a bit.
From, a place that wouldn't necessarily be as barbaric. I don't think I know anything about Ritlock that nobody else knows.
He's a great VA, I agree.
You guys know everything about this.
You hear his voice, you immediately can tell it's him.
Me what my life story is.
One of the most distinguishable voices
the only thing that,
in the industry.
I would say that I do know is that there's this guy who is not necessarily a warrior on a daily basis who is voicing this character for you. So if you've never met me in person, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So take that to the bank.
We'll keep the Awakened off your back, guaranteed.
You didn't choose your voice.
So many great moments in voicing Ritlock. It's hard to pick one out.
Okay, Char, we'll take point. You with me?
And they're like, nah. We're gonna go get a Starbucks. You tell us when you're done.
Again, same reason as, with Matt Mercer. Very close to having a male Char. But Booba always wins. Booba is just way too damn powerful, dude.
Hi, my name is Yuri Lowenthal, and I voice among
He's
among
in Genshin.
others,
Yeah, he is.
Farron
He is
and
Dainsleif.
Zerotron, who's sometimes Hobotron, sometimes Jobotron.
It's
Bongos do- that's just
narcissistic
Bongo's
characters
lot in
make
life, I
me
guess.
really want to dunk them in the trash can
But
sometimes.
he's just so charming and clueless that I adore him.
Disgustingly charming.
Do I have anything in common with Farron? We're both on the clueless. I think on the clueless scale, we're both pretty far to that end. And I do my best to live without malice. So I would.
He really is the dandelion of Guild Wars 2. Oh my god!
Here's the thing. I think we might share most of all is that he is infinitely optimistic. But I think Farron would, contrary to popular belief, he would love to settle down with someone, but he's never been able to find that person. Also,
He's been dating a lot of women. Wait, what?
His first name's Bob.
That's not true. His name is not Bob Farron. No. He made that up. No, he's joking. He's joking. No.
Bob Farron.
No. Disclaimer. Lord Farron's first name is not actually Bob. Okay, I thought so.
I did it. The scarabs almost got me, but that day needed saving.
Yeah, you beat it. You beat it on D. Keep it there.
I love how they laughed at that line. Because even they know that they couldn't take that seriously. It's Farron we're talking about.
I'm Sam Riegel, and I'm the voice of Bram and lots of other voices in the game.
Lots of voices.
I like Bram because he likes, messing stuff up and breaking things, and he has sort of like a primal rage to him. So I dig that about him. Just every once in a while, you want to just punch a wall or something, and we all feel like that from time to time. Something that I think I know about Bram that nobody else knows. Well, he has a third nipple. That's all I'll say about that.
That's also a lie.
Gorrik, Blish, let's give Lord Farron and the commander some privacy. Taimi is really memorable to me because she's
She looks a lot older than she sounds.
She's not afraid of what people are going to think about her. She started out as an old soul, and now she's even wiser and more worldly.
I feel like all Asura
now,
are
she might
old
have been
souls,
just a
quote
smidge more
unquote,
flippant about things.
because of
maybe she's
their vast intellect.
I wasn't ready to tell you, but my condition,
Ooh.
it's not in remission anymore. It's getting worse. Sometimes the pain is so bad I can hardly focus. I can't calculate how much time I have, but there's an end. Putting Taimi through a lot of the emotional things
She was
that she's going
actually
through right now.
That was real emotion.
It draws on a lot of things. I have my strong acting training as a foundation. But then the things that I've gone through in my life and that my niece has gone through and that we've gone through together, all those experiences, they really help get to that point. So sadness is part of life, and it really helps in acting, and it's not fun, but that's the job.
Unfortunately.
Blish sacrificed himself to give us time to stop Kralkatorrik. That's her priority. Hey, we have a job to do. But there's no way we can do this without Aureen. We have to find her.
She's a very, very good voice actor. There you go. And that's Derry. Sorry, not Derry. Debbie. What the Debbie. Oh, because her last name is Derryberry. All right, so I was like half right.
Mr. Gorrik, you stand accused of conspiracy to release a deadly plague upon our city.
First of all, it's just Gorrik.
Oh, it's Gorrik.
Asura do not have surnames.
Real closeness and how much he genuinely cares about not just what happens to his brother, but how his brother's feeling and how it affects him. Yeah, I think that's the most special thing about Gorrik.
Yeah, that.
You did it, Commander. We're receiving a signal
Here it
from
is,
the tracker.
the line.
But like always, Blish was 100% correct.
Yeah, this line.
Don't know how I ever doubted him. Blish can do anything he puts his mind to.
Oof.
Did he say anything? But I saved him.
Oh. Bro, why do you gotta look like that when you say that line? Oh, man. Oh, that's bad. Now that got me. That got me. Oh, man. That's good. That's, he's a great voice actor to be able to evoke those emotions. VB, we missed you. It's only been a couple of days. It's only been 2 days. On the agenda today, you guys. Well, obviously I'm going to go through the mail. I only have like one mail to read. I also wanted to watch a couple of videos. I've forgotten that I still have some lore videos that Telperion has sent me. I'm gonna watch the Eye of the North lore video. After that, I would like to watch the latest Preach video. In case anybody here, for whatever reason, doesn't know who Preach is. Preach is trying out Guild Wars 2, and he most recently just did his first strike. And I thought that would be very interesting to share with all of y'all, because his opinions on, you know, his first playthrough of the game is really interesting, and I've gotten sort of really invested in his progress with the game. So I want to watch a little bit of... I'm not going to watch the entire video. It's half an hour long. We don't got time for that. I'll watch like half of it. That mount has unique animations. Must cost like $100 on the on the Blizzard store? That sounds about right. Yeah, if this was a mount on the Blizzard store, it would be $100. Absolutely right. Ugh. Yeah, he got some things wrong, but overall, he's being very fair to the game. He is going at the game, like, super blind. Like, a lot more blind than I have. I'm going at the game, like, 50-60% blind. He is going at the game, like, 90% blind. At least you don't have the mail issue Preach does. His mailbox fills up within half an hour. Oh, man, I had not... Does he... So I don't watch all of his streams because I don't have the time. Occasionally I'll pop in for a little bit. I mostly just watch his videos. Does he actually go through all his mailbox, or does he selectively read some things? What are we talking about? I'm quickly talking about Preach. Preach has started playing Guild Wars 2. He's a big streamer, content creator. He isn't even reading chat at some points, and for good reason. Yeah, he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want any backseat gaming. From what I know, he returns half of his mail. He doesn't want, you know, things, you know, just given to him. I'm the opposite. If you guys give me shit, of course I'm gonna freaking take it. Yeah, I don't care about this business. Like,
You don't... Vanillabean doesn't earn any of the things that he is given. Look at that. He's got over 1,000 gold. He doesn't deserve that.
Who gives a fuck? He gladly accepts skins, though? Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Tsunami. Rat Jam. What is this? 23. I already have these. It's fractal junk to explain the joke. I haven't done enough fractals to know that. There are only a few copper on the TP. Oh, it's a joke. That's Ogden. When he still had flesh.
Woman of a race Ogden calls the Norn.
That armor, though.
Her name is Jorah, and when she approaches, she tells us we do not have to fear her. She is hunting bigger prey. I chose to help Ogden first and seek Jorah, the young Norn.
She's tall. What the hell? She's twice as tall as the guy.
She with a bear spirit and wishes us
that guy on the right.
Her hunt is to track down the Norn bear.
Norn seemed to be taller in Guild Wars 1, yeah.
Power and prey. Svanir channeled the magic and
they wore less.
Tried to repel it. However, by doing so,
not complaining.
Her connection to the wild. She could no longer become the bear.
I'd let Jorah step on me.
Bear by using Wolf's blessing.
I would consider it.
Jorah insists that she be the one to kill him. We enlist the help of Ula's assistant to find her, and a necromancer of the Shining Blade named Livia tells us she has been working with Gad and knows where to find him. We head
I remember Livia.
And first, he recognized a giant statue from a cavern adjacent to the central transfer chamber. The Asurans needed a lot of magic.
Damn it, Pudge. Hello. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift subs. Thank you so much. How's it going? What?
We shall call it the Pudged Scream.
No. It wasn't a scream at all. It was just a little yelp of surprise.
It is actually the Elder Dragon Primordius. With the defeat of his champion, Primordius'
Wait a minute, he looks different.
Is held off longer.
He looks very, very different.
The first dragon to fully awaken. The voice under the lake heard by Jorah and Svanir was that of Jormak, the Elder Dragon through his champion Drakkar. In the next 150 years after Svanir's death, more Norn became corrupted by the same promise and called themselves the Sons of Svanir, worshipping the dragon spirit. Even though Ogden was able to hold off the effects of the Great Dwarf, all dwarves turned into stone dwarves to battle the rest of the destroyers.
Some of the Elder Dragons that were shown or hinted at for Guild Wars 1 looked more dragon-like. I saw some pictures of Kralkatorrik, parts of his body anyway, that were in Guild Wars 1, and yeah, it does not look like the Kralkatorrik of Guild Wars 2. That's for damn sure. It's a game thing. Yeah, I bet they made them shorter just because, you know, they would be more playable that way. All right, I wanted to see a little bit of the, well, I've already watched this video before, but I wanted to share, you know, with some of y'all who are, you know, not, they don't have any clue about Preach. He has some very interesting things to say about Guild Wars 2. He just started the game. From what I hear, he recently finished Season 2. He might be starting Heart of Thorns pretty soon. But this is his video about, you know, talking about his first raiding experience. Here's the thing, though. Hold on.
I have defeated my first raid boss in Guild Wars 2.
Not exactly. He did his first strike boss. Now, they're meant to be like replacements for raids, but I guess that's close enough. Yeah.
Oh, it was good. Let's go.
He did. Just let him live his glory.
In my first 8 hours of trying Guild Wars
I feel like
2,
strikes,
the game really didn't present much to me.
I feel like strikes are suitable replacements for raids anyway.
I could see all these people running around doing various things, but I was never like.
Don't worry, I'm not going to watch the entire thing. I'm only watching half of it.
And I had no reason to. I ran into world bosses, and that I did get to do. But in terms of, I knew they existed. This is the thing. I know these dungeons exist. I know they're out there.
He's been going at this really blind.
I know. Unfortunately, I couldn't be as blind as I could possibly be about Guild Wars 2. I was 100% aware that at some point, ArenaNet decided dungeons were not for them. So I knew that before I'd even turned the game on, before I'd even downloaded it.
Which is kind of a shame.
And obviously, I am super interested as to...
I find that a little frustrating because I think the dungeons in Guild Wars 2 are super unique. They're, oh my god, they're a lot more interesting to do than, say, WoW dungeons, and definitely a lot more interesting than Final Fantasy XIV dungeons. Yeah, I mean, but some of the dungeons were kind of a pain in the ass, but some of them were really, really good. Unique, yes. Practical for groups, no. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like they should have iterated, should have made them better.
What went wrong there?
Evolved,
Especially
you know,
in a
the
game
dungeons.
that has
Well, they did though. They did. They became fractals.
ditched the holy
Yeah.
trinity. The tank healer DPS roles don't exist. And that's the same of games like Lost Ark. So I was like, look up. I said that.
Where's the fractals?
Yes, I have. I heard this
Here we
is the
go.
system that replaced dungeons entirely.
There you go.
And it seems that they did launch with the base of the game. I was really surprised by this.
Yeah,
So
they're
this is
pretty much like the
basically Guild
dungeons.
Wars 2 version of Mythic Plus. So I'm doing the rules I've set for myself is I'm doing the content as the game presents it to me. I'm trying to, in the back of my mind, I know certain things exist.
They use the same icons as dungeons?
I've not been invited to do a raid by the game.
Huh.
I've not been told to go and do a raid. There's
I didn't
nothing that's
notice
been
that.
like, and now you've unlocked raids, right? Like you would get in WoW and things like that. Is, you know, there'd be some sort of story that leads you to the raid. You
I
might
love
get a quest, like,
fractals.
go and kill Razageth. You're like, oh, that's the raid.
And the greatest thing
I
about
haven't
fractals is that they don't, you know, they're not specifically dying, that's not a word. They're not specifically designed as dungeons all the time. Sometimes they are gauntlets. Sometimes they are just boss fights. Sometimes they're like fun little puzzle challenges. They can make them whatever they want to be. They're not beholden to, you know, just making them dungeons. I think that's why they, you know, call them fractals instead.
Did not know their 5-man content. Now, this is on me.
Yeah.
This is absolutely on me.
I heard about
There is
this.
a note that says recommended.
He
5
tried to
people,
solo a
but
fractal.
I didn't see that, and so I created what I would only describe as the most frustrating experience for the people who are watching along with this. In that I spent 45 minutes trying to do the first fractal on my own, and it's designed for 5
How
people.
you spend 45 minutes on
kinda
a
got it.
fractal? I would have like after the first
figured out
20
the
minutes, I would have
mechanics.
figured something out. Like,
I'm
wait,
good at
something's
it.
wrong. Why
Yeah,
is this
I'm
taking
very, very good
forever?
But did not have the damage of 5 people.
I could solo fractals? I don't know about
Tried
that.
to scam it with some line of sight and stuff like that, but I didn't get there.
The idea is, by the way, is that he's trying to go at it. You know, he's streaming his experience of what, you know, the typical new player experience would be if the new player didn't, you know, wiki everything or Google everything.
It's for 5. Oh, okay. So why did it let me in straight away without a queue?
Well,
I didn't get a heads up about that.
in small lettering. Yeah. Very easy to miss.
But then I spent the afternoon doing fractals. What a joy. What an absolute joy. These are so creative and so fun.
I
and
love
so short.
fractals. Fractals are some of my favorite group content in the game. I honestly enjoy them a lot more than raids.
Things you can do on your lunch break. Nice and quickly.
Exactly.
With daily challenges and things like that. And I got to do a whole variety.
That's partially why I enjoy fractals so much. I, don't want to spend too much time in a specific type of content, for more than too many hours. I don't know, you guys. I think I might return to some of the old raids that I, cleared just for legendary armor. But I'm not all that motivated to return to most of them because they just take way too damn long, and I just want to do things that are, more fun to me. That being fractals and strikes.
Fractal dungeons. I think
I'm still gonna do raid 7. Don't worry.
Different variants of them, and it was my first brief
30 minutes to 1 hour in and out. Yeah,
into
exactly.
how Guild Wars 2 handles actual group mechanics. Something I was so looking forward to, and I did not.
A full experience group can probably clear raids, very quickly. Yeah, I know.
Or stones and throwing them at things that were far away. Kinds of different stuff.
All right, I'm gonna skip towards his thoughts on strikes.
I have done at this point Living World Season 1. I'll have a separate video on the Living World system because the whole Living World system is really cool. Really, really cool. And
I want to know his thoughts about the story.
At all. But
he'll probably make a separate video about that.
Called a strike. Now, if you play FF, it's basically a trial. Which is something I think,
that's a Final Fantasy 14 trial. It's just a one-boss thing, one-boss instance.
What can the other games borrow from each other that really work, like good systems? And one thing WoW has been missing for a while and used to have it, which makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah. Onyxia. I remember Onyxia. I remember the Wintergrasp Hold, Keep, whatever. They used to have raids like that too, but Blizzard stopped doing them for some reason.
Encounters, just single encounters. So you're Onyxias.
I love doing
where
those.
You just go and you just fight that. These fun things that you can do that aren't a whole
Gruel.
raid. Just one-off encounters that are really cool, and a strike turns out to be one of those. And this is basically my first raid boss, and I was super excited, and it was amazing.
I loved it. I love this strike, dude.
To find a
this is
blind group, but I will tell you.
I love this. I love this. It was so fun.
It's a full blind group. It's an entire group of people who have no idea about this, and that's what we want. And I think I should stress this at this point because we had a same sort of reaction in my stream chat as some people will have.
CM when? What? This one?
My purpose and my joy comes from figuring.
I had so much fun with this fight. I could probably be convinced to CM this one. Maybe.
Bring things out and overcoming those challenges. It's the most fun I can have. Raid boss progress is my joy.
Maybe.
My pleasure. Killing the boss, I don't really care about too much, like going in and killing the boss. So I know a lot of the people who are like checking out what
it's
we're
about
doing,
the journey,
like, why wouldn't
not
you
the
just,
destination.
We can carry you. This isn't hard for us. We've done this boss a ton of times. Like, just join the group and we'll organize.
Backseat gamers.
Like, no, that's not what we want to do. What I want to do is experience it. I want that experience of what's going on.
We did this together on the first week.
It was the war,
Yeah.
the old Lions Arch, something like that. But it was the triumvirate. Okay, ArenaNet. There's no Holy Trinity. Well, and this was an eye-opening experience. Before I get to the
They
real
realize
fight,
that's probably a bad idea.
Let's talk about this Holy Trinity business. So, a lot of what I was told
need it.
and experienced from the marketing Guild Wars 2 is there's no Holy Trinity anymore. Everyone plays for themselves. We're breaking the mold. Clearly, at some point, and I don't know the exact point this happened, they went, that doesn't really work when we make giant boss encounters.
When you need to position them, yeah, you need someone to position the bosses.
If we don't really have the Holy Trinity. And it turns out there are absolutely
You can probably work
healers in the
around
game.
this. You can work around this for not having a Holy Trinity, but then you would make the boss fights very, very samey. You would have to transform them into, like, say, a wall boss where they're completely stationary. They don't move, and they're, just a centralized, part of the raid or instance.
Did not know that until this point. I swear to you, I did not know. I had no idea until I saw that we were just kind of dying.
Tanks only exist in instances like these, yeah.
Build, I
True.
guess. And then we essentially ended up with 2 healers. I did like,
but essentially you do have those roles in the game.
Idea. I just want to be clear on this. This is the only boss I've done in a 10-man raid environment. So this is my first ever 10-man situation, and getting into it was exciting. Also,
well, to be fair, Guild Wars 2 has no Holy Trinity separation. Like, one class can be all kinds of things. ANET doesn't keep advertising it as no Holy Trinity. Well, someone was advertising it as no Holy Trinity. I know. I kept seeing that spread throughout the internet, so that must have come from somewhere. People will nitpick on what defines Holy Trinity.
Which was probably like
but, you know, the reality is that you need those roles whenever you make a large-scale group encounter.
Like some people were mentioning is like, should we make subgroups and stuff like that? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know that group buffs existed in this level. I had no idea. In fact, I'm so new to this, and this is a learning curve. I do have a group buff that I can put out called Rite of the Great Dwarf, I think, which is a 50% damage reduction.
Okay.
It's awesome. And so I assumed I was buffing the raid with it. So I was raid leading, because I love doing that. And I'm like, hey, stay together during this runaway.
He's like a mythic raider or something in WoW.
With,
he loves raiding.
The 50% damage reduction, so we're all good. And then later on, some people are like, I don't think I'm getting it, even though I'm staying with you. And then it was like, oh, it's limited to the group. It'll only hit those 5 players.
Yeah,
it's not gonna hit
that's
anyone
wild.
Else. And I was like,
I did not know that until what? Raid 3, Raid 4, Raid 5. I learned that very, very late, the whole subgroup thing. I didn't know that buffs and boons were kept to your own subgroup.
It only lasts a few seconds.
I learned it very, very late. The game doesn't teach you.
So this was all part of the learning experience of being in the raid. But what a
learning
experience!
What about World versus World? I didn't know that either. I don't know.
Totally exist.
I'll dab after the video.
They absolutely exist. And also tanking exists because it worked, at least in this fight, it works on proximity. The closest person to the boss becomes marked as the tank. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
You're going to have raid encounters, you want them to be challenging, you have to include things like boss positioning.
There you go.
It has to be done correctly.
Exactly.
If you want to, you have to include levels of damage that can kill the players and not that everybody can each individually survive. It's the nature of the beast. Otherwise, you just have people dodging left and right all the time, especially when you go into 10-man. And you can do that, but it gets kind of old after a little while. But you can't. It does. You open up a bunch of other doorways if you've got like, okay, we can do really dangerous moments here because healers are going to have to play well. And we can do really dangerous positional things because tanks can adjust and move the bosses around.
You still don't think having roles equals Holy Trinity? I mean, you have, yeah, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Yeah, you have, the tanking roles. You have someone who is, positioning the boss. That's usually what the tank does. You have, someone who is supporting and healing. And then you have the pure damage dealers. That's the Holy Trinity right there. They can, sort of lean into other, things that are usually done by other roles, but they, have their own, priorities. Does that make sense?
I was like, huh. Am I doing something so catastrophically wrong with
I don't worry about, DPS numbers. I just worry if I'm, doing the mechanics right.
Like 4 buttons. I'm doing like less.
I worry about the mechanics first, and then once I get better at the game, then I'll probably start worrying about my damage.
No. So I assume a lot of it's going to come from the elite spec, which I don't have yet. I've unlocked it, but that needs some expansion stuff to really get going for the most part, and I'm not there yet. So I'm having to use a core build, which is way, way less. So I was a little worried going into this raid encounter that I was kind of going to be carried if I was doing something wrong. So I kind of double checked to make sure it was good because DPS felt low.
Maybe he hasn't known. Maybe he doesn't know about raid builds.
So before we went in on the second day, we just
I don't know about raid builds. Guys, I went raiding this entire time. I've been using, I'm going to be real with you. I've been using open world builds when I go raiding.
Up on day 1, we just ran out of time. I had to go. But we got the boss to 17%. The boss was doable. That was clear to me. The boss was absolutely doable. And then I got that hunger for progress. It's like, we're killing it tomorrow. And happily came out like 30 damage.
I feel like meta builds specific raid builds. I think all of that really matters when you're doing the most difficult stuff. Like if you're doing raid 5 or raid 6 on normal mode, or if you're doing any of the CMs, stuff like that. But other than that, everything else is just pretty
chill. It's a big relief for me because I was kind of worried as somebody who's not using a damage meter that maybe I was getting carried here, but no, not the case. Everybody doing same sort of things, working as hard as they could.
Hold on, y'all are adding me, so let me catch up. Preach was using a raid build. He just didn't realize that the 37,000 DPS is just a benchmark, not what his DPS should have been. Oh, right. Did you catch my message about your subgroup issue? No, sorry, I didn't catch that. Until 2022, raid buffers could buff 10 people, often with traits, until they took that away. Why did they took that away? Was it just too powerful? It was too damn good? Huh, that's weird. Guild Wars 2 definitely has roles now, but it's still done pretty differently from other MMOs. Oh yeah, instead of just the dedicated tank, healer, DPS trinity, it's more like DPS, healer, boon support, kiter, tank, crowd controller, etc., etc. Yeah, I understand that. I feel like those would be, included in certain umbrella roles. Like, for example, I would consider crowd controllers, boons supports, under the same support umbrella, along with healer. So yeah, they would be, umbrella roles.
What I really
I'm with Ben. Yeah, that all
though,
still falls into support, tank, and DPS. As I said,
this blind
umbrella
raid approach. Everything was so clear. Any puzzle problems that we had that we couldn't figure out, such as there were red circles dropping.
World of Warcraft used to be like that, by the way. Way back in Classic and maybe Burning Crusade. As the game, evolved over the years or devolved, they put a lot less emphasis in crowd controlling, buffing and all that, and just became a lot more simplistic, but at the same time a lot more complicated in other areas. That's another subject for another time, though.
And then we gradually sort of pieced it together. And it kind of made sense as well with the nature of how the bosses work, because each of them worked slightly differently. And then the constant rising tension of more of the bosses you fight. It's 3 bosses and you fight one, and you fight them individually, and then there's 2 of them, and then the finale is all 3. It all kind of fell into place nicely, and what an absolute joy to progress. And it was nice that one of the ArenaNet devs came and...
I love that mechanic too, where you swap the boss AoE after the crowd control. Yeah, when you break their bar. I think that's so damn clever to change up the boss's behavior using the break bar. That is so brilliant. I freaking love that mechanic.
And that's the first boss guild in Guild Wars 2, baby!
There you go, it's done.
Hot damn!
I will say this. When you finish this strike boss, it's done. No fanfare, no unique little cutscene. It's done. There you go. All right, the music stops. Congratulations, everybody. It's not like where the raids, when you finish the final boss in a raid, then you have a cutscene, or you get something really cool.
Hot damn!
Kind of miss that.
Oh, woo!
For the vast majority of his career, he's been, doing World of Warcraft stuff, but he's in recent years started, dipping into Final Fantasy XIV, and now Guild Wars 2.
Encounters are big boss encounters, and you're just not sure what the hell is going on. And you even no matter how much you look at it, you're like, I don't know. I don't know how this works. I always think back to Patchwork Hateful Strikes back in the day when no one could figure out how that damn mechanic worked.
What's on the menu?
I'll very familiar, very
tell you
cozy,
after this.
Putting on a glove again as to how that
It's almost done.
So that's my strike.
We're going to be doing things.
Really extraordinarily happy with that. Got some currency, which seems similar to Valor points. So that was really cool. The only other group thing I wanted to talk about multiplayer-wise are these... I'm still a bit iffy on the terminology, is what I'll say.
Which
I
was?
did some stuff which was 50-man instances.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was shocked. I didn't know they existed.
Like the Marionette.
50-man public instances.
And the Lion's Arch attack.
/ meta events / whatever. These huge, huge things.
It's a little confusing.
This is a bit touching on Living World, but I did one called the Tower of Nightmares or the Tower of Darkness, something like that.
He hated the Tower of Nightmares, didn't he?
And it was just the worst experience.
Yeah. I am so glad that I did this with y'all. If I did this by myself, I would be freaking tearing my hair out. This place was a piece of shit. I agree.
Absolutely horrible. And I know that like parts of that whole raid instance thing.
It really was a Tower of Nightmares.
On the bottom floor, like where is everybody?
As advertised.
What's going on? And then you would see a group of people wandering around. It's like, well,
I would never do this again.
Also lost. And it was
Not
the
willingly.
strangest 30 minutes I've had in Guild Wars 2. It was just strange. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just weird. But the overall experience was pretty awful. Pretty bad. I've done a couple.
What I did enjoy, though, was, the story stuff that went on in this. I thought, Scarlet Briar whispering into your ear, constantly mocking you, and then picking up all the little diaries and journal pages. I thought that was very, very interesting. Bro, is this a fractal? I think so. I don't remember if it was a fractal. I think it was, yeah. It's a fractal. I think the fractal's a lot more doable than this version of the instance, though. I'm dabbing after the video. I see all your dabs.
Not ready for that yet. This game
You
did
don't
not
like
launch
gate-kept
with raids.
unintended rewards? No.
I didn't know that. And I was shocked. I reached the level cap. I was like, oh, okay, where's the raid? And then it's
that's
like,
wild.
there's no raid.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're in the game now, but I'm trying to work through
That's not normal for an MMO. Yeah, all MMOs have raids, right? I don't play a whole lot of MMOs, but I am, led to believe that most MMOs have, raids on launch. I don't know, or close to launch.
Chronologically, because so I can see how this content develops and how ArenaNet shaped Guild Wars 2.
They didn't get their first raid until after the first expansion.
Raid.
He doesn't know this yet.
Shocking. It was just one of those things that I take for granted would have existed, and I was kind of really looking forward.
I think he doesn't know that the strike is brand new either. Yeah, that's actually brand new content. I think he believes that the strike was part of Season 1 the entire time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what their first raid was, and there isn't
Maybe
one.
somebody told him.
So, I mean, there is a first raid. It's just not in the core base Guild Wars 2. It must come with one of the expansions. I don't know which. I have
He
no
found
idea.
out
There's
after?
several expansions.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not just one
I'm
thing.
going to come back to you next about the Living World. So the Living World, as far... well, I know now. I have done it now. But my impression of it before I did it was that these were supplemental pieces, supplemental like filler patches. So we could look at it in WoW terms, like you get the story
Endgame is
that comes with
achievements.
the release of the expansion, and then we
Whatever
get
you
some sort
want
of
it to be.
different story beats.
It
throughout
can
the
be
expansion.
fashion.
So that's what I thought they were.
It can be roleplay.
Kind of. In terms of FF, it would be like post MSQ storyline that leads that's joining things together for what the next thing is. But that's a bit of what they are. But they're
Final Fantasy 14's story is structured very, very, very similarly to how Guild Wars 2 structures its own story.
And
very
it's
similar.
Something that if you've watched our Ian Hazacosta's full interview, especially that's available on our website, and it'll be on YouTube.
That's
soon,
the WoW guy.
You will know that I asked them about something that they said basically no to, which I thought would be a big, big help to World of Warcraft, but they're for their resource allocation, they can't afford it essentially. And it's interesting. So tune back in for Living World. See you again,
Some
guys.
developers,
Bye-bye.
tackle things differently for their own game, so it's understandable. Yeah. The first strike is super easy, tank and spank, really. Are you talking about Old Lion's Court? Yeah, we finished it under an hour. It wasn't that hard, but that's fine. That's okay. Not all raid encounters need to be hard. They don't need to be bleed-stickingly hard. They got to be enjoyable. Be enjoyable first, and then maybe they could include a much harder version. That's my opinion. But it was very fun. Not OLC, the one they made first. Oh, the first one they made in IBS. Okay, I haven't gone there yet, so I'll see for myself. That's Preach's first impressions of strikes and fractals. I'm very excited to, keep watching his videos and see, you know, where else he ends up in, you know, doing in the game, what his thoughts are, you know, in certain aspects of the game. I really want to see his impressions with the first raids, because I think the first raids are the best raids. Raid 1, Raid 2, well, not so much Raid 2, but Raid 1, Raid 3, hell, even Raid 4. But they sort of devolve into a very messy mess of things after Raid 4.
How many dabs is that?
105. Ain't nobody got time for that.
107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114.
It's all coming together.
116, 117, 118, 119, 120. Right, Guild Wars 2 Casimir mount. Let me see. Oh no! Oh!
Ooh, looking cool, Joker.
Oh my God! No! No, I have never seen this! You guys are liars! This is not what I imagined mounting Casimir would be like. Okay, alright, I'm out. Nope. Why? It's a Springer. I don't know who that guy is, but he probably has way too much time on his hands making the worst imaginable mods.
Time to do some real damage.
This is what, you know, Guild Wars 2 modders are doing. Instead of making, you know, the mods that we need, the nude mods. That's right. Okay, well.